Just taking a moment. There we go. Good afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, it's welcome to the second episode of Alpha's Alpha with me, alphacruze. I aspire to be your new favorite, what's the word, neurodivergent content creator. So hopefully you enjoy what you see here tonight and what we talk about. I have two amazing guests joining us tonight, and we'll be speaking a bit about the what it's like to be in crypto. I would say what it's like. I know both of these people have very different backgrounds, so it's going to be three completely different perspectives. One of them is a content creator, the other is a founder of a project, which is focused around gaming, which is bloody cool. I absolutely love gaming. I actually got introduced to crypto through gaming, so it's kind of something that I'm very, very, very much interested in. We will be taking a dive into what kind of things get people into crypto, what crypto is like, how things have changed over the years, especially since all of us have been in crypto for a bit, some a little longer than others, some in different forms of crypto for a bit, and then switching over. So it's going to be a really interesting conversation, and I do look forward to what our guests have to say tonight. And on that note, I'll actually be bringing them both up at the same time. I'm not going to do them one by one this week. I think it's going to make things a little more fun. So let us bring them up. We have Johnny from Valley. He's the CEO of Valley. Actually, wait, I think you can introduce it to us. I think you can give us a little bit of insight into that.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Alpha. We are a Valley Arcade Games is kind of what is in the name. We are arcade game studio platform. Our kind of claim to fame is that we will be the world's, or we are the world's first Web3 arcade cabinet, physical, professional, large arcade cabinet. So love to talk to you more about that.
Okay, and then Serenity, I think you can also introduce yourself a little there.
Sure. If you guys don't know me already, I'm Serenity from Down Home Crypto. Been in crypto 4 or 5 years now. Quit my electrical job to come out here and educate and teach the working class people of the world how to get started. Let them know it's available for everyone, and always looking for those good people to talk to, like Johnny down here, who's doing something truly unique. So, as a gamer, man, I'm super excited to talk to you, Johnny. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Love to get into this.
I think gaming is probably one of the more niche things in crypto, yet it's also one of those things that actually gets people excited. I don't know. For me, like NFTs and tokens aren't that exciting, but when you tell me gaming, it's like, now that I can get excited about. But I don't know, maybe, Serenity, I know you've played a lot of games, and Johnny, I don't know if you like played crypto games or if you just like you like the arcade thing, so you just stuck with that. But what is kind of, if you do have experience, what has it been like, playing crypto games? Like, what is the Web3 experience like in the gaming world?
Yeah, man. I would say not great. Personally, there's some great games and great studios out there in Web3. I think I'm more considering like 2-3 years ago, coming around like the Axie Infinity time, which is when I think I got into crypto really about 5 years ago, and Axie and all of that. And I was more into the concept, like I think a lot of people are, of like, play and earn and play and own, and that's really cool. It's taken, I think, a lot longer than most of us have hoped for the games to get to the level of where we want them to be. And even more so, I would say like mass adoption, because I think of Web3 gaming and gaming as the ultimate like form function for crypto. It just makes so much sense. And I know a lot of us are kind of like, I am like surprised, like, why don't other people get it more? But then we look at, like, especially still thinking a couple of years ago of like, it sucks to have to like put in a seed phrase and make a wallet, and a lot of the games were just like felt like work. But it has come a long way, and now there's some awesome games. Like it's so much better. I think we still have a decent way to go, but yeah, my overall experience has been like,
Oh, yeah. I think I can relate on that. I actually got introduced to crypto through Axie Infinity because just like you, I was like, whoa, that is a bloody cool concept. What do you mean I can play a game and I can get paid for it? And what do you mean I own every asset that I have? I was like, bloody hell, sign me up. Where do I go? But then I think the biggest, I suppose, and it's still relevant today for the most part, the biggest bottleneck is the experience of getting on board into crypto because especially if you're coming into the EVM world of things, you have to learn, okay, what is MetaMask? How do I set up a MetaMask? Oh, I have to save my seed phrase and my private key and all of these things. And you're like, I don't want to do that.
I think that's like a lot of people, gamers and studios, realize that pretty early on, and so many have made that their focus. Like that was like the main focus for what we're building at Valley, where now we've got to the point where we have an automatic Valley wallet creation. All you have to do is put in your like Google email or Discord. That's it. And then you're good to go. So you can be playing a crypto game, earning, well, in the future, cryptocurrency, haven't TGE'd, like so seamlessly. And like the real idea is like doing that in real life with the Valley arcade cabinets at your local arcade bar or Dave and Buster's, movie theater, what have you, to just take it full circle and onboard a lot of the non-Web3 people.
I think I'm gonna have to come back to that, but first, I when I joined your Discord, yeah, I think one of you, what do we call them? Community managers. There we go. One of your community managers was like, if you already have a wallet, you get just connected, and there you go, you sorted. If you don't, just connect your Google account, and there you sort. I was like, whoa, I like that. And then he was like, oh, you can just use Discord. I was like, okay, I like what I'm hearing because that is so seamless. That's like if you're in Discord, you don't need to stress about it. It's just like connect your Discord and then you sort it. You're not thinking about, oh, I need to first go create a wallet and then connect it. I was like, that was so bloody cool. I must say, like, I'm very glad and I'm very, I suppose, excited about that part of like where you guys have actually thought about the experience of bringing people on, because that just makes a lot of sense. Make it as seamless as possible and you're going to get your users. But maybe we can hear a little more on Serenity now, because I know you've played quite a bit of Web3 games. I remember for a time there was one that you were playing quite a bit. I can't remember the name anymore though.
There's actually been several, and no, I totally agree that is one of the biggest hurdles is getting the gamers to accept Web3 gaming, because it is such a barrier of entry to create your wallet to do that. And then on top of it, you got, when you do an action in a game, as a gamer, I expect instantaneous response. I mean, our game performance is rated in milliseconds. I mean, that's our ping rate. And if it's over 30 milliseconds, like that's it, that's too long. You talk about even 5 or 10 seconds for a transaction, that's like eternity in game world.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things about gaming and getting into it. So I love the fact that it's seamless like that. You don't have to create a wallet; it does it automatically for you. And during the middle of the game, many of your games, Johnny, that I played do not require you to stop, collect, or do this. So just gameplay smooth all the way through. And then at the end, you get a little printout like, okay, here's what you did. It's like, all right, well, that was easy, nice and smooth. And I think that's what's really going to transition it. Now, personally, I've never seen a lot of that in any of the other Web3 games. I've played several ones from Alpha Dog Run to Axie Infinity, Bit Fighters. Yeah, the list goes on and on, more than I can count. And I've wasted a lot of money on them. But I'm
right there with you on that.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one who's done that. I'm like, why do I have all these? Oh, my God. Yeah. But, that's one thing that I've been preaching for years is as a longtime gamer, and to let you guys know, I've been gaming back since the 90s on PC games, everything else. I mean, I grew up in arcades. That's been my life all the way around. Even the point I actually have an arcade game literally right behind me in the studio. That much of a gamer. So, but I've always believed that gaming is absolutely the next level of where our financial society is going to evolve. I mean, if you look at it, both the gaming industry makes more money than the movie and restaurant industry across the world each year. I mean, it's insane. That's how much we spend in gaming. And now you look at these games like Fortnite or Call of Duty or any of these that have a token system in the game. It's a very simple evolutionary step to go from buying your battle passes with tokens, getting your skins, your weapons, all that. You buy them with tokens. Well, what's different than a token and a crypto token? Not a whole lot, just the way they're interacted. So we're one step away. We just got to get the gamers to realize, hey, wouldn't you like to own your equipment instead of, when they shut down that server, all the stuff you bought is gone. If Fortnite ever turns off, all those thousands of dollars you spent on your skins and all that, they're gone. They're not yours. It's kind of scary to think about, but yeah, you have no ownership. Where Web3 gaming would take that to the next level where you did have ownership. And that's where I really see our future of gaming going to.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm glad you bring up the token element there in the way you did. That's a big part of it for us. Well, I guess just to step back to getting what you were speaking about at the beginning, we came up with 3 tenets at Valley, and it's kind of funny, but like we live by it every day. It's like our code. Number 1, we're not scumbags. And in this industry, I feel like that was important to establish.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to say anything else about that. That was our number 1. We're gamers first, so gamers above the crypto side of things. The crypto side of things and the Web3 integration is what's so exciting, and it's like why a lot of us are here, and that's super important. But that should be not an afterthought. But we are creating games that are fun to play, right? They're arcade style games. Anybody can play them. Your grandma could play them. Easy to pick up and play, hard to master, high score leaderboard style old school arcade games, but with like indie new flares. And then our other one is focus on fundamentals, and that comes down to like everything from like making sure that we take care of insurance and our the regulations and focusing like it's an actual startup. That was really important for us, because then I feel like you have an entity that can grow into a responsible, fun, and for the gamers and for everyone type of company that once the token is turned on, it works, right? Now, all of that is happening while we're spending so many hours looking at our system from like the actual token side of things. And, we've got developers and our CTO who's like, they live and breathe that. So that's great. But I don't know where I was going with this. You were talking about the token. Yeah. So I look at it as a token that you place into an arcade, right? Like when you go to a Valley arcade, you'll place whatever the venue decides, whether it's free to play or a quarter or dollar or whatever. And it's the same as any of the other games, right? And it's similar in style and feel, but you can actually earn an in-game ticket to start, and you'll be earning rewards, which we're all used to this. But we think the cool thing here is that people off the street will come into, let's say, their local arcade bar, play a game, and then they can go straight up to their bar with the point of sale integration that we're working on and get $1 off their beer or a free beer or a pizza. Like that, I think is like, that was like our focus. Like, how do we like take all the cool, amazing aspects of Web3 gaming that we are all understand and get, and like show it to like, normal people, if you will, as opposed to like us who get this Web3 thing and we're all the way that we are. And how do we show it instead of tell them? Because I grew frustrated, and I don't know about you guys. Like I was like telling my friends and family about it, and they're like, I'm like, no, this is so cool. Like, how do you not get this? So that was like the spawning of the idea of like, all right, we'll just like show it. It's like, you don't have to understand exactly how the internet works, but you're using it all the time. Like, that's why I think we're moving that way with blockchain.
I would agree. I would actually agree with that quite a bit. I'm not sure if you've heard of Abstract Chain. We very, very recently launched layer 2 chain for Ethereum. They've abstracted everything. So when you create a wallet, it's not the usual way of creating it. You just connect your Google, your Apple ID, your whatever else you can do. I don't know all the Auth2 protocols, but you can connect any one of those, and then it creates your wallet for you. And you don't have to stress about, I need to save my private key. You can do your normal things like 2FA. This is like they're taking a lot of the things that would usually be very annoying out of the equation, because now they're just making it easy. You don't need to think about it. You don't even need a, like every other wallet requires you to have the bloody application. It's so annoying, to be honest. We have limited space on our phones, so it's like, it's every time you're like, oh, I need this application because of this chain, and no, don't make it difficult for me.
Right.
They
Now,
have
Alpha, I was going to let you know, I did run into something really unique yesterday. I have not done my research on this yet, but on a new computer project I'm setting up to mine passive income, I created a new MetaMask wallet, and it was allowing me to create a MetaMask with just my email address. I don't know how it all works yet. That popped up yesterday, and I'm like, whoa, what is this? So there may be something else we got to dig into, buddy.
That is pretty cool. That is actually pretty cool. I wanted someone from MetaMask to join us, actually, because I've been seeing quite a few sneak peeks from there. MetaMask has actually been working very hard on revamping everything about themselves to make it easier for people to join. So I know one of the things that they're doing is that you'll be able to pay for gas using any token. There's a few wallets that already have this, so they just late to the party. You can have gas accounts, which is something that Rabby already has, where you deposit into a layer 2 and then they pay for your gas every time you transact. So you don't think about it. So like depositing into, this is like, it makes sense. Why didn't they do this before? I mean, especially if you're using something like Base or any other layer 2, Arbitrum, Optimism. Most Optimism chains is like 0.00001 cents per transaction. So you deposit $10, you're transacting for a year. It makes sense. You don't stress about having ETH on Base or ETH on Ethereum, ETH on Arbitrum. It's like, screw that. No one cares. But yeah.
Serenity, what was the name of that, by the way? Do you remember the name of the automatic MetaMask creation tool?
I don't. I started a brand new computer, and I'm actually doing a thing where I can remote in a computer to earn passive income. And for that Google account, I just said, okay, install MetaMask. I said, okay, enter your email address. I'm like, wait, what?
Whoa.
This is different. Okay. Or you can do it through a seed phrase. Like, okay, this is wild. So yeah, it was on a PC and it was a brand new install. So I've got to dig in more. I haven't had time yet today.
I mean, that's fantastic, because like it's going, like the whole industry is going there. Like we all, I think, realize like that's where we need to be, right? That's why we have an automatic Valley wallet that's created just from your Google or Discord login. I'm starting to see more projects doing that. It's all about making it seamless, because like the technology is so great. It's just all the other stuff that's been getting in the way.
Exactly. So, Johnny, I want to ask you on your wallet there, when it creates, you says it does it by email address. Now, when it does that, does it also create a seed phrase in the back that you can go in and get? And
it does.
Into something like that? Oh, cool.
It does. It totally does. Yeah. And yeah, we're looking at this. Like, okay, so we think that this will be the vast majority of people that play on the cabinet in venues. It will be their first time interacting on the blockchain in any way. So we've taken a bit of like a Web 2.5 approach for the arcade cabinet itself. You know, we're Web 3 heavy on the online. It's called our Valley.
Backend.
And if you go to valley-arcade.com, we're gonna get valleyarcade.com. It expires here in a couple months, and I've been like, the guy who owns it, he's long and he's gone completely dark, but it's about to expire, so we're like gonna jump on it. But for now, it's valley-arcade.com. And so yeah, so we've got, you know, staking and tournaments and all those things coming very soon. You know, we're using our tickets, is what we're calling our token placeholder, and that's how you can play for leaderboard runs. You can play for free right now. When you go to the cabinet, it's created automatically for you, just like it's created automatically for you on the website. If you want to receive your seed phrase, you can, but you don't have to. And so yeah, getting to your point, that's just like simplifies things for people. If you're a Web3 person, you're like, I want my seed phrase, you got it. But,
yeah.
If you never need it, you won't need it.
Yeah, check your email.
It caters to both. That's awesome.
It's also kind of like an extra backup, because, you know, sometimes you do somehow end up losing access to your email and you just can't get back at all. It happens very rarely, but it happens. but then you can just have your seed phrase also. So it's like it's a backup for getting back your account in essence, which is pretty cool.
And if you've got oh, there it is. Yeah, thank you. If you are a non-Web3 person and you didn't write down your seed phrase, right? For, I don't know about you guys, but this happened to me when I was first starting off in this world. I lost relatively not that much, but I lost my whole wallet because it was a total user error. Never made that mistake again. But we anticipate a lot of people now like doing that. You can open up a ticket currently in Discord, or later we'll have a whole service for this, and you can actually gain control of your wallet. If you're a Web3 person and you want to have complete control, you've got your seed phrase, you can totally lock us out. So we're trying to make it so that everyone has the ability to either ease of use and a backup or complete control.
That is fantastic. That is actually fantastic. Interesting though, eh? I'm not sure if you've heard of Wax, which is an EOS type blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
They've always done things where it's email and password. There wasn't like any seed phrase things to do with that. So it's like, it's funny how crypto actually moved away from EOS to EVM, technically because EOS was big at some point. I don't know when, but that's what I've heard. I've heard that from people. They were like, oh no, EOS, yeah, I've heard about that. We used to do that back in the day. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Wow,
I didn't know that. I was like, okay. But then, now it's like people are doing the things that EOS has been doing all along, which is fantastic, making things easier for everyone.
It is. So, but now, Alpha, I know you are a big security guy. And, I know most people, we're lazy. Straight up, we are lazy creatures. So even though we get our email, we use the same password across 150 different sites because that's the only thing we can remember. We can't even remember our phone number nowadays. So how do you feel about that as security? If we were to evolve from the seed phrase to an email and password system, wouldn't that open up more vulnerabilities and have more problems than we have now?
What I would say is we shouldn't move to email and password, honestly. It should be your email and your pass key. So pass key is your fingerprint, your face ID, things like that. That's kind of where we are moving to. Like, just think about it. If you have to log into your thing, your wallet every time, you have to enter your email and your password or your PIN and whatever. It's annoying. It's very annoying. But if you just scan your fingerprint, well, it's like 2 seconds and you're in. Maybe not even in 2 seconds. If you have the latest phone, it's just like you just open it, boop, there you're in. It's like fast. That's just where we are moving to. Although, since there are still older phones that don't have passkey, there has to be that fallback of like, okay, password or passkey, password or passkey. And it's just, that's kind of where we are going. Right now, it's not exactly the most secure thing, but as we move more and more towards passkeys, it's going to get a lot better. And I know actually that Microsoft has been pushing very heavily to move away from passwords. They want to completely remove passwords from Windows. Like completely. They don't want to give that as an option at all anymore.
I completely agree until your son throws your phone and now my fingerprint doesn't work because there's like a little crack in it. And I'm like, oh no.
No.
But
how are you going to get in?
Yeah, biometrics I think is great. Are you concerned about like the security or the your personal, whether it's your eye or your fingerprint being able to be manipulated, and then that not being secure? Maybe this is a question that we, this is really, I'm just kind of wondering here, like, what are there any tools where you can manipulate that currently?
No, that's why a lot of companies like Microsoft are pushing for it, because there's currently nothing really that is easily accessible. I mean, there is, but it's not easily accessible because it's locked behind a lot of bureaucracy. It's like things that only the Fed can have, the FBI and stuff like that. But for most people, it's like it's way out of the realm of possibility that it's nothing to be concerned about.
Nice.
So it's like, that's why they want to push towards that passkey world. I mean, sure, if someone took your phone and you have Face ID, because mine unlocks with Face ID. So I just usually I just do this and then it unlocks. It's unlocked. I don't touch it. I just use my face. But sure, someone could do that, but it's like, you're going to see them do it. unless you're asleep, I don't know, maybe then that could happen.
Mm.
Or if you have a face full of makeup, then your phone might not recognize you. But there's these things like that. It's kind of the far end of the spectrum, you could say. It's not going to be the most common thing. And passkeys are inherently a lot more secure than a password.
Or
As
you got the Men in Black ball where he burns his fingertips off. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. that could be terrible.
That would not be good.
Could be. But then you got to look about it as, of course that works great for mobile, but then you got people like myself who I do everything on a computer if I can. I hate dealing with my phone, sort of just short-term thing. Then you've either got to have a facial recognition always watching you, that's leaving your webcam on or something, that leads to a lot of security issues, or like a fingerprint scanner in your keyboard. Okay, so there's still the limitations there. But then to go down the rabbit hole just one more step, and then we'll back up, because I got a question that goes back to this for you, Johnny. Is the facial recognition. Well, now you've got your AI algorithms that are creating people, they're scanning faces. How far does it get until you take a picture, say, okay, scan this image, or you take a photo off the web of some famous person, you put it in front of your webcam, like, here you go. It says, yep, that's them. Cool. It's kind of scary the way technology is going. But I'll stop on my tinfoil hat routine here.
Yeah.
Johnny, I'm kind of curious, if this did evolve to a passkey setting, how is Valley Arcade going to evolve to that? Will it use a QR code you can scan with your mobile device? Would it have a fingerprint scanner in the game? How are you guys looking to advance as technology does?
Yeah, I mean, super top of mind and important for us, because we've got this hardware, right? This like real world thing that people are going to be interacting with. So everything is authenticated in terms of scores, like on the back end. That's great. We've got the same problems that everyone else has in terms of gaming, whether you're Web3 or Web2, of like cheating and all of that we feel like we've taken great strides in. But it's you're always iterating on that, right? Like that will never end. But to your point, like the biggest part for us was we had built out in the cabinet where you can log into the cabinet, burn, even buy, not just our token, other token, totally scrapped all of it. We totally got rid of that. And now we are going, and this is more, it was all to do with security, but also ease of use and simplicity, where now you are interacting on the blockchain as soon as you put a quarter in or press the play button, on the arcade cabinet side of things. And it's being, cryptographically tracked and all of that. But your high score run, let's say it's your first time ever playing a Valley game and your first time ever playing a Web3 game, you don't know anything about it, or you hate Web3. Let's say that you play a Valley cabinet. We all know there are a lot of those people as well. Play a Valley game. One of our games is called Flutter. You do really well. Afterwards, then it still doesn't say like you just played a crypto game. Enter here for your crypto, whatever. It says, great job. Here's your high score. To keep your high score and be rewarded, you can scan the QR code, and then you can enter your email, Google, Discord, can sign up that way. You can enter a previous crypto wallet if you choose, if you already have that. But we give you all the options, and then it's all done on your phone, but your score from the cabinet is kept. There will be very soon a way to, before you even play the arcade game, sign in before for those who are already a part of it. But there's no way to send any token or be hacked from the arcade cabinet itself. So the arcade cabinet is like an onboarding vessel, if you will. It also earns at 5 times the rate, more than 5 times the rate, as if you were playing the game at home on your PC, Mac, or mobile. So that's kind of cool. We wanted like an extra incentive to get people out into the real world a little bit.
He's actually really cool. I like that.
I like that. And I want to get back to that, but this great comment you got up here, and people just stop cheating, kicking, and scamming. Man, wouldn't that be great? But unfortunately, a lot of these people, they find it easier to cheat, scam, and steal money from other people than go out and get a job. And until that changes, man, I think there's always going to be some type of scumbag, as we talked about earlier, that's going to play the system. And now, Johnny, I think that's absolutely awesome, because it doesn't require you to make a wallet before playing the game. It says, hey, no, come in, play. If you get a high score, hey, now you can decide to save it. Man, that's the best way to do it. Everybody wants to do a 20-minute setup before you can even play the game. You guys are brilliant. I love it.
Oh, thanks, man. I think we were talking about this a little bit before we went live, but it kind of goes back to just like the user experience. And like I own an arcade bar, and that's where this spawned this idea. I saw like a niche missing piece here, and we've got, you know, full service bar and food, and we've got the giant menu like right behind our bartenders, and people come up to the bar and they'll be like, "Do you guys have beer?" It's like list of literally like 16 beers on draft. But it just goes to show, it's like, I don't think these people are like not intelligent, right? It's just like human nature, where like not everyone is going to do exactly what you think. And like for game developers out there, I think they would know, like you design a game and then you start testing it and you're like, they're playing it totally different than what I thought. So having all of these like fail safes and like making it as easy and like seamless as possible, I think really is the key to getting this next batch of people onboarded.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that seamlessness is kind of the missing element, and it sounds like you guys got that sorted. So I think we're looking forward to how crypto is going to change. Oh, before I forget, also, so I've been hearing that the EVM is going to have a massive upgrade soon, and it's going to take that idea that Abstract Chain has, where every wallet is a smart contract, right? And it's going to bring that to all of EVM. So I wonder if that should make things a lot easier for you guys also for doing all of these sorts of things, as when it's a smart contract, it's a lot easier than interacting with what do we call them now again? EOS, a normal wallet. Because you can program the email address and the password into the smart contract, unlike with the normal wallet. So that's pretty cool. I think we're going to see a lot of exciting things.
Our CTO was just telling me about that. That sounds fantastic. I mean, that's, again, it's all just about like ease of use and like making it simpler for even like us Web3 people who get it and like know how to do it. It still is hard and like kind of sucks sometimes.
It does. It really does. Oh my goodness. And especially some wallets are even more annoying than others. Like I just like it when I have to create a wallet and they tell me, oh, you need to have an uppercase, a lowercase, a number, and a special sign. Why? I don't want to. That's annoying. It's so bloody annoying.
And they're all slightly different than the other password, specifications. And you're just like, oh,
yeah, I don't want to do this now. And then you forget your password, and you're like, now I can't access my wallet. Great. And you can't also write it down because you might just forget where you wrote it down, or you lose the page, or it gets damaged. You're just like, you can't win. You can't win right now. Yeah. So, I suppose we could say, if we were to look back, like say 3 years, the crypto UX, the experience of what it was like to be in crypto was a lot worse than it is now. I think we can all agree on that. It's gotten better, but we're also kind of at this point, like, I don't know, we were to say out of 100, we would be put a kind of ease of use of crypto, like 1 out of 100. I think we can start with you, Serenity. What do you want to think first?
Currently, you're saying?
Yeah, I'll think of it. Yeah, we'll go Johnny first. He's the guest of honor.
And this is right now, today?
Yeah. If we were just to take everything as it is today, like, what would you say we would rate it as? Like, what's the ease of use right now?
It's tough because, like, from what it used to be to now, I want to say like 80. But then when you compare it to, a lot of other things, that's 30. So maybe I'll meet in the middle and I'll say like 50 or 55.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's a very fair score. What would you say, Serenity?
And I'm pretty close to Johnny, except for I think it's even worse. So if we back up like 5-6 years ago, we're like 70% better than then. But if we look forward 5 years, we're like at like 15%. We suck. We really do. Yeah. There's still a lot of hurdles, a lot of technical. I mean, my own wife, Wild Angel, will not swap crypto around. She's like, no, here, move this AVAX over to Ethereum. Can you do that for me? And she walks away. Like, yes, I can do that. So, okay, there's 15 minutes of my life gone trying to go through that because it's still so many hurdles, so many different bridging and different things you have to do to move things around depending on what you're trying to do. And especially here in the United States, now that we can't utilize a lot of the central exchanges, things like that, makes it even harder. And it's like, okay, who has the lowest fees? I can save $3 if I do it here, or I can do it quicker over here if I pay $2 more. Or it just gets crazy.
You know what? Yeah, you bring up a good point. I'm going to change mine from 55 down to 10. And you remind me of, like, I've been holding a lot of these tokens and coins and NFTs, and whenever I look to trade them or buy or sell or anything like that, I don't, because I don't want to bother, right? So like just that alone, and I've been doing this, like I understand it, like that alone, it must mean that it's just so not easy.
Annoying. Yeah.
So yeah, you convinced me. I'm changing my.
Okay, cool. Sold.
It's way worse than I thought. Yeah.
Okay, so I know a few things that technically make things a lot easier right now. Like bridging has gotten a lot easier. We can definitely agree on that. And I know a bridge that has integrated AI in a way where you can just tell it what you wanted to do. So on a scale of like 1 to 100, I'd say that's like at least 60. You know, that's a really, really good UX. Sure, it's still a little annoying because you have to like click the sign and then click again, and then it only does everything. But that's so much better than what we have everywhere else. But I think I can agree with you guys in that, like, it's definitely not 70%. It's not even 50% really. Somewhere in between that range of like 10 to maybe 25%. Yes.
Yeah, it's exciting that it is that bad, right? Because we can only go up. We can go down. I don't know.
Yeah, we can get better. We can get a lot better. And we are definitely getting better. Like, I've heard of something called AI Wayfinder. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it was blowing up crypto for a bit. So Wayfinder, you connect I think you can connect your wallet, or you just like sign up with an email, email and password kind of thing. And then it creates a wallet. You deposit your funds into that wallet, and you can just tell it what you wanted to do. You can be like, oh, swap this token for this token on whatever. You can tell it, oh, provide liquidity on Uniswap for ETH and some random token. You can tell it to do all of those things, and it does it for you. That's incredible. But I'm sure it needs a lot of work before it can actually be usable. But that is absolutely incredible. Sure, we'll eventually get to that point where it can be that easy, but you know, we have to get there. We still have quite a way to go.
And man, that opens up a whole floodgate of concerns and curiosities, and tokens with different tickers or wrong contact addresses, or maybe it doesn't take the most efficient routes. I mean, I'm not sure I would feel comfortable on saying, hey, go do this for me, will you? And come back like, wait, I had a whole lot more. Like, I don't know. It's what you said.
Yeah,
like, no.
Concept is cool.
Right.
But
concept is great. Yeah, I'm terrified. Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Yeah, it's a very cool concept, but it is definitely very concerning.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe.
But Johnny, I'm kind of curious. You said you own an actual arcade bar. Okay. Yes. That I think is awesome, by the way. There was one here in Boise, Idaho, and I think it's closed now because I miss going to the arcade, playing things like that. But I'm curious, since you've done this for a while, in your honest opinion, how well has the Web3 game compared to the old classic arcades?
So we have not, in any like official capacity, put the Valley arcade cabinet inside of our arcade bar. Our arcade bar is called Happy Valley, just to make it confusing.
Oh, so that's so cool.
Happy Valley arcade bar, and then Valley Arcade Games. But that is a great question, and that is something that we have lots of robust marketing and plans. We'll be starting in the Northeast of the United States with 5 to 6 venues, and this will be before the token is live, and we'll be able to iterate. We'll be able to make sure that the inflows and outflows are balanced, and we think it's going to do incredibly well. The whole idea for this company, it kind of spawned when I was looking for, my wife and I own the arcade bar here in Beacon, New York, which is about an hour north of the city. And I was looking for a Web3 arcade cabinet for our patrons because I just thought, why not? That's a cool thing. Arcade bar and venue owners are always looking for something new and like exciting to attract patrons. Didn't exist, right? So like, I was like, okay, we've got to make this. Let's do this. Had the right connections. We got our first like great partner was Fun Company, and they make cabinets for like Raw Thrills, Bandai Namco, Sega. They like the concept, so they took us on, which is fantastic. So the cabinets are top of the line. We then partnered with a couple other great partners like LFG, who's doing our nodes. We have nodes for sale that are the rewarding our early community and believers in this project. We partnered with Star Atlas, which is a AAA game, and we have developed 2 arcade games that will be inside of the Star Atlas arcade. Sorry.
Inside the Valley arcade machine.
Inside of the Star Atlas game. I'll say that. And
Okay.
that will be really cool because our games will be opening up their whole community to our ecosystem when they're interacting on the game. So that's fantastic. We're working with some point of sales. Now I'm just going off on a tangent on all of our stuff. But yeah, the arcade bar is really what spawned like the idea. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, could this help solve a lot of these issues that Web3 gaming currently has of like onboarding and getting people to understand it? It's the perfect opportunity in an arcade. We see it every day of people just light up when they see arcades, right? Like I think we all get that. Yeah, I know you do. And
I'm like a little kid. It's like, yeah.
Same here. Like my favorite part of the day is we've got these remotes, 3 remotes that turn on all 30 plus games at once. It's so cool.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. You know what? It's funny. I don't play the arcades as much though, which that's the downside. Is like when you own your own arcade bar and you're, doing all the stuff for the business, you don't like. I was like, I'm gonna play games every day and just like have a beer and like play. That's the downside of it, but it's a small thing. But anyways, yeah. So saw like the people open up, and not only do they open up, like they open up their minds, and like people who are not gamers come in and they'll start playing an arcade cabinet. So then it all was kind of like clicking. Is like, this is how we could get people to experience Web3 and then make it seamless. So then now they've played this game, and then they have like in the future, sometime in the future, of value of what, let's say, fiat value to what they just played. I think that's the missing link, right?
Right. Agreed. And it's interesting. So I'm looking at this like as a gamer and going to this arcade. It's like, okay, I can play this game over here. It costs me $0.25, or I can play this one, which I don't put any money in, but I could win a pizza or a drink or a beer or something. I'm going for that one, even if maybe it doesn't play as smoothly, or it's maybe not as refined or classic known as some of the others. Man, that jackpot win, it's almost like a slot machine without putting in the money first. It's kind of cool.
And without the legal ramifications of being gambling. So,
right. Yes, not gambling.
Yeah,
it's not gambling. Technically, I think would it count as sweepstakes? Technically,
I
don't.
No,
that's how.
No, our lawyer knows, and if I say the wrong thing, they'd kill me. But no, it's just like it's since we don't have any gambling aspect, it's kind of like the old like pinball in the 70s when it was considered gambling until he went in front of the council there, and I think it was in New York City, and showed that it was skill based, and then they took it off the gambling list, and you weren't even winning anything, but it's like the same laws carried forward, which is really cool.
Right. Because you could win a free game, and it's like, well, a free game is like another quarter, so
it was,
that's gambling. Like, no, it's not, man. I earned that. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Because gambling would be like you go to a slot machine, you don't know what the odds are. You're just like, you're pulling something, you're not doing anything yourself. While the arcade game requires you to actually go into it and be like, okay, I'm going to win today. I'm going to give this my best shot. I'm going to pull out all the stops. I'm going to master those games just so I can get my free pizza.
And, I think like there's something to be said for how far. I know we were kind of commiserating about Web3 gaming a couple of years ago, and it has come a long way. Like, look at Off the Grid. If you guys are familiar with Off the Grid, it looks. I've only played it like once or twice, but it looks, and from what I could tell, feels fantastic, almost like a AAA non-Web3 game. I think I'm also shocked that there weren't more people going into that, and it brings me back to like maybe we kind of like ran before we walked, and like video games in the beginning got popular from arcade cabinets because it was so easy to understand when you go up to this big unit and like and then you got the at-home consoles. So we're kind of taking that approach of like that with Web3 gaming, like slowly like hand-holding people into it. Off the grid is great for like us that understand it, but yeah, this is for a whole other audience.
And now I don't know if you guys remember or had anything in New York. We had what's called Pojo's or Chuck E. Cheese. Any of those sound familiar to you guys?
Cheese, yeah.
Okay, so same kind of thing is
not from there.
Maybe Pojo's was just here in the Northwest. You're in the Northeast. But yeah, I mean, growing up, I used to save up my money from the week, lawn mowing lawns, whatever else, go to Pojo's or Chuck E. Cheese. And of course, every time you win, it spit out those tickets. And you looked forward to collecting those tickets at the end of the night and heading up to that big camp. Like, oh man, okay, I want that one. That's 10,000 tickets. I ain't got that. That was always a huge thing back then. And so I can really see this is like the digital version of Chuck E. Cheese home. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, like people who grew up that then started going to arcade bars when arcades like more or less died out, and then the whole arcade bar thing in the like early 2000s came around, and everyone's like, oh, it was the same age people that remembered arcades from the 80s and 90s, and now they're back, and you can drink and eat and all of that. And this is similar to what you were just talking about, like the tickets from there. Now you have tickets that you can also, it's digital, so you're not going to lose them, right? And you can play it on your phone even as you leave the game or the arcade. You can play it at home. You earn more at the arcade. You can then utilize it for exactly merch, food, drinks, and then somewhere down the line, we turn it on, and then it's got a fiat value, and that's where I think it kicks up just another level, right? And then it can become super exciting. But we're really focusing, and we're really taking our time with the tickets for beer and merch and food and all of that, and having tournaments online. And for the people who are online who aren't in a venue, let's say, it's I think a lot of them get it. It's like, I'm going to start collecting, right? But then like using some of them for tournaments and leaderboard plays. Yeah, that's it.
That sounds fun. That sounds really cool. I actually like how you said earlier that it feels like we were running before we were walking, because that's kind of really how it was, eh? For crypto gaming, everyone was just like, oh no, Axie Infinity. Technically, they didn't build up from the ground up. They were just like, oh, here's blockchain for you. Go ahead, done. It's like, instead of easing everyone into it, it's just like that. I think, what's that, Decentraland also, and Voxels, I think those were like some of the biggest, and they just all kind of forced it on you without kind of trying to ease you into it. And the only reason it actually worked is because people paid a huge amount of money for most of it. I think like Axies were what, $300-$400 at a time for like the lowest tier one. And it's like, just thinking about that now, you're like, whoa, what do you mean? And then you're like the top tier ones cost you like 2-3 ETH at the time. It's like, yeah, they kind of,
and unfortunately their tokenomics, they wrecked themselves. They didn't plan it out, and so they got to where nobody could afford it, and hence they died. So no, I love what you guys are doing there, Johnny. And I'm curious because you mentioned the cabinet maker. Now they've built a lot of other cabinets. Have you talked to those other game companies for actually bringing their games and changing it to a Web3 game? Is that any conversation like that going on in the background?
Yes, there are. None that I can talk about publicly, but yeah. Let me think. Yeah, unfortunately I can't. That is
like the crypto version.
Yeah. Those companies are like watching what we're doing, and they're in a position where it's a risk to them, right? And that's just in most like startups and larger companies. This is very a traditional thing, right? Where like a larger entity will watch some quirky startup and see how it goes, and then they will either use that and try to partner or acquire or do their own offshoot of it. But they are all very interested, I would say.
That's nice. Awesome. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
I would be worried those old-time game companies like Gallagher, one of those on Midway, any of those would say, no, we're not into the tech. So it's great to hear that. Yeah, it's like, hey, we're going to keep on you and check back in a little bit and see how this goes. So yeah, you don't have to tell anything, so I don't want to get you in trouble because your lawyer would probably get mad at me. I'm in enough trouble as it is.
I would have to censor this whole section.
Yeah. Cut. Out here.
That's cool though. Then again, it probably is some of them are like, yeah, no, we're never touching that. Screw you. Don't even talk to us about that. Because we always have those kinds of people. I mean, the people that say, oh no, I hate crypto. It's like, you don't even know what it's about.
Right.
To be fair, they don't know because it's too much of a pain.
And I don't know about
It's
you guys,
easier.
I feel like the sentiment is kind of changing from like hatred to just nonchalant, like which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
in the right direction, maybe. But
I think so. I
Yeah.
definitely seeing a lot of that in the government and a lot of things going on. I think we have to. I mean, straight up, there's no place in the world you go you can't hear or learn about crypto going on, even if it's just Bitcoin. Problem is, people only know Bitcoin. They don't know that there's 10,000 other crypto tokens out there. Most of them are bad. There are a few are good, and some are really building on the back end that we don't hear a lot about.
You know what's funny also about Bitcoin? Because of the price of Bitcoin and how, like, that's the first thing you hear about usually with crypto. People hear the price and they think, oh, yeah, no, that's not for me because it's too expensive. When a person thinks of something, they want to own one of it. They don't want to have, like, oh, I'm getting a really, really tiny piece, a millionth of a Bitcoin. They don't want a millionth of a Bitcoin. They want a whole Bitcoin. And that kind of also limits people into getting into crypto, which is another very interesting facet of
so
this world we're in.
a lot that's funny you bring that up. That was like a conversation that we had early on when we were putting together our plan for this, and we decided that whether you get first place or 70,000th place, so we have daily leaderboards that reset daily, obviously. Weird if our daily leaderboards reset weekly, but so
that would be weird.
we have daily leaderboards. You are omitted for now tickets. So our placeholder token, I guess we could call them.
Yeah.
If you get 70,000, if you suck at one of our games, you're the worst in the world. You're still going to get a tiny little bit from just playing. If you get first, you get way more. And it's along those lines. It's like everyone, because then we've seen a lot of projects where they're fun, they're engaging, and you can like even make some money, and it's Web3 game, but you have to be incredibly good at it. This, you can be incredibly good at it, or you can be super dedicated to it. You can be terrible at it and just play it all the time, and you can do all right. So that was an important thing. And another thing for us is because they're all leaderboard style games, arcade style games, all NFTs are cosmetic in nature only. Some NFTs may also allow for like different tournament entry and like in real life things.
That's cool.
Yeah, we did not want it to be a pay to win scenario for us. That can work for other games. But for us, we have the eventual token will be for all of our games, first and third party titles. Since they are arcade style games, that was important because we've seen so many games that are fantastic even, and they have a lifespan, right? And then the token just kind of goes, right? So those two things were very important for us, like no pay to win, cosmetic in nature only, plus like tournaments for that, and an ecosystem wide token.
Okay. Now I do got a question for you, Johnny, on the token, since you went down that avenue. And this is something I try to ask of any crypto project I'm looking at is the token, of course, has to have value to buy the pizza, buy the merch, things like that. So can you tell us a little bit about the revenue stream that gives that token actual value?
Yes. Let me think about how I can say this. So
without getting in trouble.
Yeah. So it's a great question. We are focusing on the games and the cabinets, right? And we're focusing on especially, our community, of course, but like when the cabinets start going live in the venues, and we'll start with like the northeast of the US, and we'll be iterating a special program where we will be buying back tickets. So great for the venues because it's called a buyout for like a bar. They get a certain, let's say $20,000. I'm just taking that number. And they can, for anybody that comes up to them, and the owner might know nothing about this, and they say, oh, here's a certain amount of tickets that converts to this dollars that we have in this fund. Here's a beer. Great for the gamers because you're going up to an arcade. There's no actual cryptocurrency at this point, right? And this will be how we start. They can play it just like any other game, but this one they can get $1 off their beer or a free beer. that can only last for so long, right? So we are using our income, our bootstrapped, our investor money, everything for this. It's almost, think of it as like a marketing program. It also helps us test and those in and outflows and iterate. Then at some point in the future, we turn on the token. So we think, we think that way, by doing it this way, we can make sure that the system is as perfect. Like, no system's perfect, right? And it's like an economy. It's really hard. But we think we can really test it on the ground in people's hands before we turn it on.
Okay. And that makes sense. Now, maybe I missed it. Maybe I would close my ears. But of course, that works for the ecosystem. What about getting funds into the ecosystem from another source? Because of course, an ecosystem can only spin around so long until it runs out of value, bleeds to death, essentially.
Right. Now, are you talking about like after the token goes live or in the beginning?
Probably after it goes live. The long-term game? How is this going to continue to generate revenue to pay those tokens?
Yeah. No, that's like kind of the crux of this, right? Like, so besides the cabinet sales, which we do anticipate to be pretty robust, but that's a traditional source of revenue. We have spent so many hours on the utility of the token because we don't want only sell pressure, right? Like, no one wants that. So by having a leaderboard play system where you have to burn, I suppose, 5 tickets. Well, it is burn. You burn 5 tickets per leaderboard play. That's a great utility. You can play the games for free all you want. And if you'd like your run to count for the leaderboard, it's 5 tickets. We have staking for the game. So if you want one game to yield more than others, you can stake Valley, or you can stake tickets. Sorry. We have, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull up our utility here. But by allowing tournaments to take the center stage, we think that we've built a system with our tickets around tournaments. And by that, I mean weekly tournaments as well as monthly tournaments. But we're really focusing so much more than that. We're having a whole esports league built out of this. We've got people from the industry back to the late 80s and early 90s who did these types of tournaments all across the United States and into Canada, I believe, bringing tours of cabinets to your city. That is where the token utility is really going to shine. And I can't get into too many details, but it will all be surrounding massive in real world activations for Valley tournaments at festivals and venues that are at much larger scales. And you'll need that ticket/token to be a part of it.
Okay.
That is very cool. That is
So,
actually very cool.
I got one more question because I'm all about deep in. I love deep in devices, and so I love Valley. Have you guys considered partnering up with, I don't know, maybe like Helium or something like that, putting like a miner in every cabinet, or doing maybe a edge computing in every cabinet as well to earn a revenue stream outside of the arcade venue?
Yeah, totally. I mean, these things could be just like big deep end boxes, if you will. We've had initial conversations with Helium. This was probably the last time I talked to Helium was, I think, 2 or 3 months ago. But exactly like what you were just talking about, they were actually interested in placing these on the back tops of the cabinets because these are all going into high foot traffic areas. Well, they're not all. They are consumer use as well. And we know some of them in our community will be purchasing them for their homes. But as a cabinet owner, you can not own a venue and you can purchase the cabinet, place it in a venue, and then you'll be earning a percentage that's emitted to that cabinet. So that's a great DPIN element there. It does come. Yeah, there's other things, but so yes to all of that. Helium. I think I've got another call with them next week. They want to have their mobile hotspots. It's all just about we're still new, right? Like, we don't want to get taken in too many directions because a big thing is our focus right now. And like right now, our focus is getting these cabinets out the door. We feel like we've been doing a great job with progress on our Valley Web Arcade. We're talking to the Deep Network guys over there, Ben and Nate, because they have a really cool device that we're looking at a potential really cool collab with those guys. But yeah, I think having, a couple deep end devices inside of a Valley cabinet, which is in itself a deep end device, is a really cool, really cool. Yeah.
It is cool. It would be really,
yeah.
There would be some dope partnerships also. It's just like any bar can be an arcade bar if they're willing.
Oh, and along those lines,
5 or 10 in there.
Yeah, exactly. To put my marketing. Oh,
whoa!
That was my phone. Whoa. Sorry, I know it's irritating.
Before I forget, so we have Friends 2025 is a code for $1,000 off the pre-sale, and it's all caps Friends 2025 with no space. The cabinets themselves go in like the low to mid range for a professional arcade cabinet, which MSRP will be $5,500. These are targeted towards, oh yeah, perfect, the venue owner, but this would get $1,000 off of that, and that's good. I think through this for a little while. And then we have our node sale as well. That's ongoing. Really cool thing about that is the first 500 nodes that are sold will there's a DIY arcade cabinet NFT that comes with it, and there's 105 of those left. And right now I believe it's $350 per node, or $375. And so you will have the opportunity to purchase pretty much at cost, like a small unit that has our proprietary software on it, and your at-home build will be earning at the same 5 times rate as the professional cabinet. And that's, I think there's 105. Yeah.
Sorry, I keep calling back.
My sales marketing.
Yeah, they're reaching out to me already. Apparently, they're like, "You must get one." Okay.
Oh man. Oh, there's someone said 5 more nodes left at 375.
Oh, nice. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and then it'll be 100 more at $400. Yep. And then after those 105 go, then the nodes will still be for sale, but they won't include the DIY arcade cabinet, but earns at 5 times more.
Okay, makes sense. But we have hit our hour, so we'll have to. I know.
We do that, Alpha. I'm curious, Johnny. How do we go? Where do we go to get those nodes or cabinets? Or where do we go to research this stuff?
Yeah, it's all at valley-arcade.com. So like it's the Valley /arcade.com, and then it should be right at the top there. Oh yeah, there you go. And then I believe we've got. You scroll down a little bit. We've got a cool little UFO thing in our Valley slime. And then it's purchase nodes and pre-order cabinets. Is some of the first 2 buttons.
They're really cool. Okay, here's a direct link to the nodes for anyone who wants it.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
That's a direct link for the nodes for anyone that wants to buy a node. Yeah, there it says 5 remaining. Almost there. Just 5 more, guys. Get it while it's there.
Yeah.
And then it goes up to $400, so you're saving $25. Just saying.
Actually, I'm heading right now back to the arcade because I gotta go take off the vinyl on the side of our outdoor huts since it's getting warm. It's 81 degrees Fahrenheit here. It's,
oh, that's rough. Ouch. That sounds hot.
Yeah.
That sounds rough. Well, this was a really cool conversation. I think we had a lot to say about the world of crypto and what it's like right now. But I'm glad we had you on, Johnny. I think you had some really cool insights into things, and Valley Arcade sounds like it's going to be freaking awesome.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me, Alpha, and thank you, Serenity. This is great.
I'm glad you could make it.
Thank you for joining us. And yeah, Alpha, thank you for letting me crash your party once again, man. I love being here. Thank you so much, brother.
It was fun. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining in and watching, and we will see you again next week. Not Thursday, though. Next week, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.